Hello and welcome to Babylon, a new roll and write game that I just have made. Uh, it is not still finished, though. I just basically, the moment I uploaded the mod, I also wanted to make a little video about it. So this is just going to be a showcase, no actual playthrough. I'm going to do that later. But I want to introduce you with this roll and write game, which uses a different approach to roll and writing. So the game consists of this board here on the center of the table. These Tetris-like shapes, which are double-sided, and by the way, it took me some time to actually make these shapes to be able to import into the tabletop simulator not using 3D object because I really don't know how to model 3D object and how to import them. So these are actually tokens, and tabletop simulator doesn't allow you to have like tokens that have an image on double side. So what I did, I actually imported tokens which are PNG images that's, well, to cut the long story short, if you have a PNG image and if you have a shape, the tabletop simulator is going to make a basically 3D object of it. But I had to connect two of them, so this is basically two tokens connected into one, so I would have these double shapes. But I'm talking about how you make this. I should actually talk about the game. So besides these 14 pieces and tiles with various stuff on them, we also have these sheets, player sheets, on which you have lots of stuff to fill in and draw, but the main thing here is this little tower that you trying to build and earn the most points. Now, as I said, the game is not completely finished. I just uploaded the mod and just wanted to show it. Basically, what I lack is I just copied each of these shapes. I actually need to have a different one. So as you can see from this, they're kind of the same, and you should have like two pieces of different, but it's playable like this anyway. I mean for the purpose to showcase the game. So you also get these little worker. Oh, speaking about the workers, I actually forgot to add workers that all players can use. So let me do that quickly. So I need my top menu. Actually, yeah, I need the top menu. So let's do it like this. Uh, let's remove it. Alright, and let's color this some kind of a, yeah, let's do it like this. Actually, maybe a bit yellow. Not too much. Okay. So each player would have these like default workers that everybody can share. And besides that, they can also get a master worker, which is in their color, and one ship. That's something that you can unlock later in the game. Okay, let me quickly save this. Actually, I can do it later. Alright, so how the game is played is quite simple. Uh, game is played through 12 rounds, and in those 12 rounds you have to fill in as much as you can on the board. The starting player, which could be decided anyway, I'll see how we're gonna do that. Probably someone who went to, to maybe some archaeological digs, or maybe in the some kind of he visits some, you know, ancient ruins. He can go first. So let's, for this purpose, I'm gonna be first. So on your turn, you're gonna check and take one of these shapes and place it on the board. And board actually have these 8 possible actions that are connected to these 8 possible sections on your playing sheet. So as you can see, each are connected to one of the sheets. So for instance, we have here a coin which can give you a gold, and if you look at the sheet, like if I have this section available for myself, if I have a 5 or 6, I can get 1 gold, which I can later spend to build some buildings. Same thing with the stone. Then we have these lion statues that are connected to this shape, where you can build this little stone mine, or you can do some works on your tower, and so on and so on. So what I would do, and let's say I take this shape for instance. Well, now I have to place it on the board, and as you can see, some of these actions gonna be uncovered and some gonna be available, some will not. So I have to decide. Also, I can flip this, because important thing on this little tile is this bonus that is like on a piece of paper. So either I'm gonna get that from this side or from this side. Well, they are the same on this type. Let me think. They are the same on this type, but the other bonuses are different. But I can't use them anyway right now, because for these bonuses, for these with the water, I need a ship, and for these with the little like garden, I might need my master worker. But let's say I take this shape, and then I have to decide what actions I actually want to allow this turn. So let's say I really want some well, I'm not gonna get some gold or stone with this shape, so maybe I'm not gonna use that one. Maybe I want some gold and maybe stone this turn. So looking at other shape, this could be good. Maybe even this one. Yeah. So let's start with this one actually. So in this case, I'm gonna put shape like this. And now you can see that only available actions are getting some gold, making some artist on pottery, get this island, lion statues, or maybe some of these stones. Now looking at my sheet here, you can see if I want some stone, I need dice values with 3 or 4. For gold I need 5 or 6. Now here's the deal. Once I cover these shapes, you can see that these little dices are connected to these spaces that are uncovered. Well, those are now also available spaces where I can put some workers. So the next thing I would do after placing the shape, get this default worker, and maybe I need some stone. Let me check. So I'm gonna probably place it here on the 4. Alright, and that will be my thing to do at the beginning of the turn. So the next players would take their default workers, and they're gonna choose which other numbers they want to use. Now you can't place it on the same number, so this guy must go either for the 3 or for the 5, for another 4, 3, or for the 2. And maybe he wants to, let me check the sheet. This guy maybe wants to go for the 5, so let's put it here. Okay. Now you are obliged to do these. This is the only section on the board you can write on, but as long as for the numbers you can write them in basically. You're not obliged to write the 5 on the statues. Basically, this 5 can be used here, here, or here. Anyway, that was that. And let's say the next player also take a worker, and he maybe wants to do something on the 3. And this player here, maybe he also wants to do something on the number 4. So right now we have available this action, and the numbers we can write 3, 4, 4, and 5. Okay. Now, knowing this, now we're gonna start filling up boards. So, as I said, I needed some gold, and there is a number 5 available for myself, and as you can see, I need a 5 or 6, so I'm gonna circle 1 gold. And I also needed stone. For that I need 3 or 4, so I might use these 3. Now, when you place these like default workers, you share the dice values. That's why we all can use these dice values whenever we want. So in this case, I'm also gonna circle 1 stone, and now I use number 5 and now number 3. I still have 2 4s, which I can write in the sections here, 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 and which else section? Yeah, where the stone is. But in this case, I probably want to write it here, because right now I can use this action if I have a 4. Well, I can actually do that. So how this works? The action with the lion statue allows me to circle 1 lion, and they are actually here, on this little tower, and you'll see how that works. So let's say I'm gonna circle. Let me think. Well, let's say I'm gonna circle this lion. So I've just used this action. Now I can, since I have 2 4s, I can use it again. But actually, with another 4, I'm gonna use an action with the pottery here. So that's this section here, and I'm gonna circle one of these little like amphoras. I can fill one of these columns. So let's say I can start the first one or anyone, but I actually want to circle these ones that have little like paintings on them. So I'm gonna circle one of these, and that's it. I use all my dice. Now another thing, because I was the first player, I can always use this little pergament action for free. And you can see that that was actually this side with these little palm trees. Now, since I use all my dice values, I can't do it here. But for the sake of this example, if I didn't want to do pottery, instead if I want to do these palm trees, I could have used, let's see, maybe this can be any number. I could circle one of these palm trees here, but I didn't go for that, although that was an option, but just for me. So whoever is placing these tiles on the board, this is the option he can always do. These are not unlocked yet, so we'll not even look at them. Last thing you can do, and this is optional, when everybody write their stuff, you can actually take this little piece and move around and look if you want to now draw it inside your little tower. So in this case, I can look. Now what I'm trying to do, I want to place it somehow so the borders go at least around this lion, because that's gonna score me later, because I have one lion statuette on my tower, as long it is like has the borders in this shape around it. So if you look closely here, this will go like this. Alright. So, if I want some points later, I probably want to circle this down, I want to circle this down, I want to circle this down here. Alright. So, that was that. This is out of the game. And the next player then, we will get our little workers back. And then the next player would choose piece, one of these Tetris pieces, and place it on the board, and then we would share again dice values and fill our little sheets again. All right, so let's do that basically. So this player maybe, oh yeah, I didn't fill in anything, but let's say he didn't wanted to do this. He maybe do something else. let's say he maybe wanted to. Now in this game you should probably work on your stuff, but you should also check what other people like trying to do. So right now maybe he wants to take this shape, and let's see, maybe do it like this. Okay, so again, this is the only action that can only that player do, in which case he would be able to draw also in pottery spaces. Now placing like this, like he don't get anything special, but if he flip it like this, well, in this case there are pottery from both spaces, so he probably can cover up the pottery space because he's gonna get it anyway. So maybe he wants some gold, so let's do it like this. Alright, now the problem is only these actions are available and this special action, but whenever you have this center piece uncovered, there is a special place on the sheet where you can actually do some stuff, and this is here. Now this doesn't need any dice values. If you have uncovered, you can circle one of these. Now the thing is, you have to go from left to right. This is a river here where you can get lumber or the wheat. So he can do that, or this can also be a wad, so any other section can be filled in if you have a dice or maybe some gold or stone to do it. Now let me explain now quickly how you actually score in this tower. So there are some points you can get here. Well, let's go from section to section. So the first one is the river. So whenever you circle 4 of these that has a boat inside, you can circle the boat and you're gonna score 6 points for that. So you need 4 of them circling around the boat, and then you can circle the boat itself. For each wheat you got, you can turn it into 2 points. So if I have these wheat, which you can actually spend to do some stuff, but let's say I have something like this, and maybe I spent some of these wheats. Now these 2 is gonna give me 4 points in the end of the game. Now you can also get some points from other bonuses, but let's say like that. The lumber is interesting because lumber, if you can always spend a lumber and turn it either into the stone or into the gold. Lumber is also used for building some stuff. Alright, so the next section is this pottery section. Now if I do this action using a dice with the value of 1, I can circle one of these potteries. That's like an art on the tower. Also, if I manage to fill in all this here, I'm gonna score 9 points, so everything must be filled in here. Once I have filled in some of these, you see that has like a little drawings on them, these amphoras, then I can spend 1 stone and draw here. Now you don't have to draw exactly, but should be different from each other, so something like this. Once I spend 3 stone 3 times and fill this in, I'm gonna score 6 points. Same deal for here, so you can score 12 points here if you like focus on this pottery section. This mosaic section, like this main action, is gonna allow you to circle one of these mosaic lions, and also you need to fill in. If you completely fill in this mosaic here, you're gonna get 9 points. Now, if you build this big lion statue, which gonna cost you 3 gold and 3 stone, and whenever you spend gold, you just cross it. First you need to get it, then you have to spend it. You will be able to circle 3 of these lions, so I can do something like this in one take. Okay. After that we have these little palm trees, which I can circle again here on the board if I do the first action, or in the section I can use any dice number to circle some of these palm trees. Now they are not worth anything, but if I build this gardening house, they are all gonna score me 2 points. So eventually, if I like focus on this and circle all of these, that's a big how many? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 18 points can be scored there. But of course, you also need to build this building, which is gonna give you also 3 points. Then we have a gold and a stone. I don't have to explain that. Then we have these lion statues that you can circle in if you use 4 on this section, or you can do some stuff. Now, eventually, as you fill in this tower, you're gonna have some empty spaces. So let's say I filled something like this here. Okay. So as you can see, I have an empty space here, right? You don't want to have these empty spaces. So that's why you have this action that can be used multiple times. So whenever I spend 3 gold and 1 stone, I can fill one of these empty spaces. Okay. Or I can fill 2 of them if I only spend 3 gold. So it's really hard to fill in one space. It's easier to fill 2 spaces. But if I build the mine, then I'm gonna always have this action here available. For any dice, I can either fill in 1 or 2, but the mine is kind of expensive. Then we have this like a special guy. Now, if I use a 5, I can actually take this guy and use it on these little tiles. The guy can only move to these like enclosed garden spaces, so I can either go here or here. So if I spend 5 on this section, instead of circling anything in the tower, I can actually get my master worker and use the special bonus. Now, other players can do that also, so we can share the same space, in which case we would also share the action. So this one allows me to circle some of these mosaics, and this one actually allows me to fill in 3 of these spaces, so I can do something like this. So that's a really cool action. We'll probably go for that. In this section, for any dice value and 1 gold, lumber, and wheat, I can draw one of these. So I can like say this is a lion right now. Okay, you don't have to draw it especially. You can even put a little L lion on mosaic. So I can draw these palm trees, and as long it is not over these windows and doors, so you can't draw on them. So this is now off limit. Okay, so that's basically, if you draw some of the tower later, you can circle them and get points for that. Also, if I build this, a little camp for my worker, I will not have to roll a 5 and use for worker. I will always get my worker. He's going to be available for me till the end of the game. So I always can use that bonus. So you probably want to focus on this, because that's going to really help you out. Here's the ship. Same thing with the 6, I can use a ship. Now the ships can move only on the spaces with water. So if I go here, I would get 1 lumber and 1 wheat. Now, here's the deal. Lumber and wheat are not tracked anywhere on the table. So the boat is a bit tricky, because you have to spend it on the turn you got it. So or you can change it into the points or into something else. So in this case, I can either take 2 points, in which case I can draw it here, so 2 points for 1 wheat, and lumber I can turn either to gold or to stone, so maybe I'm gonna take a stone. Okay, so that's what you can do with these resources, or you can spend them immediately. So for instance, if I have these 2 and I spend 1 gold coin and 1 dice number, I can draw here. Alright, so the ship will always give you resources. Now here's the deal. If 2 people place the ship on the same spot, you will have to share those resources. And by the way, you can't have you can have multiple workers or ships on the same space, but for the resources, when you have multiple ships, then I have to decide. I can't take both of these, so I either have to take wheat or the lumber. And that's the same for all the people that are on the space. We are all sharing. We can only take 1 type. In case of the numbers, you will split in 2. So, as you can see, whoever builds a boat faster than other people in the game, he's probably gonna get some really big bonuses before everyone start piling up and taking those bonuses. Also, you can fill these little cards with flowers on the boats. So if I fill two of these, I'm gonna score 2 points. You fill in columns basically, and that's it. Now the tower. The most important thing here is the tower. Eventually, you will encircle lots of these spaces. So let's say something like this. I doesn't really matter. What really matters is the height of the tower, how many rows you have filled in, how many things are circled and enclosed inside the tower. So, for instance, this is encircled and enclosed, so that was going to give me points. And how good are your uh, starting three of these not columns but rows? Uh, how good your foundation for the tower is, and how many of these windows you have encircled. So how this works? Okay, so first you score for the maximum height, and maximum height is if you have something like this that doesn't have a holes. So let's say I managed to encircle all of this without any holes. Of course, I would use all delta shapes. So this would score me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. I would get 8 points for the height. Now you always look your maximum. So if I have a uh, even if I have a 12 of these but one hole, I'm not gonna uh, get points from that. So it must be like a one column that's going from bottom to top without any holes. Okay. Then we get points for each fill in rows. So for instance, if this row is fill in, I'm gonna get 3 points for that. For each row that is fill in, I'm gonna get 3 points. Okay. The next thing you're gonna get whatever is in circle and enclosed gonna score you points. So these lions are worth 3 and these mosaics are worth 3 with the lions. So this is 3, this is 3. Palm trees are worth 2 and these little paintings also worth 2. Now here's the deal. When you're drawing them, so I have an option here that I can actually draw them. You have to connect them orthogonally. So for instance, that's why I draw a lion here. So I can also draw a lion here, but I can't draw a palm tree here, okay? Palm tree must be connected to other palm trees, so you have to think it out how you're gonna draw it. So for instance, I can draw a palm tree here, here, and that's it, okay? Because it's connected to the palm tree. It must be connected to something that already have that symbol. So in the case of this mosaic, I can only draw it here, okay? And there is no like diagonal connection, so I have to draw the lion mosaic here and then another lion mosaic here. So that's for the drawing part. As I said, the more encircled and circle out you have them and encircle in these little shapes, the more points you will get. So in this case, let me see, let's say this is connected and this was connected, so I would score this and this, so that would give me 2 points and 3 points, 5 points. But the more I circle and you know, put a shape around it, the more I would get. So the tower is the main thing, and this is the where most of the points going to be scored anyway. But also, as I said, you can focus here. So as you can see, there are lots of things here, and you have to focus a lot on this game. And I'm afraid I'm really bad with. I have a really bad analysis paralysis. So I'm always like thinking out. This is not a fast roll and write. This is like those games, really thinky ones, but you need to think a bit in advance what you want to do. Also, there is a bit randomness because other players gonna go for some other things. So the question is, will you like intersect to do the same thing? And who knows what you're gonna do? During the game. The filling, the stuff, you know, there are a lot of options. It's like a point salad with those Euro games where, you know, thinking how to rotate this, what you're gonna do this turn, looking at your sheet. Now in Tabletop Simulator it's a bit hard because you need to scroll up and down, but when you have this on the table in front of you, you can actually see it better and do it. So yeah, that's the game basically. I need to make some more of these shapes. As I said, I just copied them, but I need more of them, and I don't know how many rounds I need. I need to play this a bit to check it out. But as I said, writing these shapes, I mean drawing these shapes are optional thing, so you don't have to. But the problem is if you really don't do anything on this tower, well, I guess you're gonna probably lose some points, which it's a question of balance. Where do you want to focus? Because sooner or later you will not be able to do some stuff here due to actions not present. While you can always encircle shapes, that's always going to be available. You can always do these first actions, like placing guys, encircling shapes, and drawing these Tetris shapes in your tower. But sometimes you will not be able to do sections depending on what dice you have. Like if you don't have resources and if you don't have dice, even if this section is available, you can't do much unless you're really lucky to get the correct numbers and depending what you can do. So as you can see, lots of these shapes can give you the stuff that are really useful, but you have to think it through when is the time to use it and when is the best time to use it, because let's say someone is covered in your gold, well, go for the ship. You're gonna get gold and you're gonna get lumber, which can be turned into more gold and stone. So and for the ship it's available, and you need a 6 for that, so you know where you have to go. Gonna probably go for that spot there. So as you can see, you can plan it out, even if it's like random with these shapes and what the action is gonna be, but you can plan it out, at least one thing you can do, and then think it through what is the best way, what the best you can do during your turn and how to do it. As in all of these games, the one with the best score is gonna win. Now I need to do the scoring is gonna be on the flip side of this little board, so you just flip the board and do the scoring, and that's it. I don't know what else. I think I explained everything. I'm gonna try to play it. Maybe I can ask my sister to help me out so we can play a two-player game. I'm planning a solo mode which gonna use a few cards, so you're gonna play without against the automa that's gonna make you some problems with the board, and you're gonna just try to get amount of points that's gonna get you the win basically. So it could be played solo, but this game is more for multiplayer, to be honest, and that's where it's gonna shine, when everybody thinking through and using these shapes, and this is like game for lots of people. Well, for at least 4 for now, but I think it can even go to 6 probably. All right, anyway, this turned into a very long video. I didn't intend it. I actually wanted to do a little short showcase, but it wasn't planned. I just made the mod and just wanted to show it. So yeah, see you in the next video, where I'm gonna probably do a playthrough, and then you're gonna see how it goes. Although it's gonna probably be really slow playthrough. As I said, I'm not so good with these brain burning games, because I'm good at designing them, but playing them that's another story. So yeah, thanks for watching, and if you like my channel and what I do and make games, please subscribe. And I have a really good news. I finally managed to make my actually well, I can't do it from this program. This program can only record like in-game video, but I have the OBS. That's like a program that can do streaming, but can also record stuff that are directly from your screen. So I would finally be able to show some how I make some cards and what I do, how this game is actually made. I mean, I can show you the templates and how I do in Photoshop, which was the purpose of this channel actually, how you can make this stuff. And but I never managed so far to find a good program that can capture, you know, uh, the screen like outside like games, or because whenever I tried OBS before, I have a problem where my sound was like going like 3 seconds after the video or something. But finally I managed to fix that, so I expect some of the like learning programs to how did I make these little, well, actually I can show it right. Well, it's already a long video, so why not do it. So if you check here, this is like a standard token, but it has a two sides. So there's a tool here with the joints, but if you click it once more, it's just gonna see, it's just gonna break it up. So as you can see, there's actually two tokens which are PNG images that look something like this. So this is the image size and this is the image inside. So the tabletop simulator, when he sees something inside, he actually make a 3D object of your image. So that's why how I got these shapes. Now the second shape is basically, you can see it here, just flipped, then place tabletop simulator puts the same image on both sides, so when you flip you have this image like is like in the mirror, and this is fine. So this is the image I actually need, so that this must be on top and this must be on bottom. So when you put shape on a shape like this, now you can use a grid to, you know, align them correctly, but I'm just gonna do it like this. Alright, that's good enough actually. And then you take this little join tool, click on one section, hold it, click on, you hold the button and then click on the second section, and they are joined now. And when you flip them, voila, it's a 3D tile. I mean, easier way to do it than to go to Blender and actually make this like a 3D object. And because I can't do that, but I always find some other solutions. At least so far I managed to do so. Alright, so thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Goodbye.